Welcome to another episode of the Cattle USA Daily Podcast. Today we are switching it up a little bit for you guys, and instead of bringing you guys your weather report with Gary Lezak and the Weather 2020 team on Mondays, we are going to start bringing them to you on Fridays. We've switched up our recording schedule a little bit, but we still want to keep the information that we're bringing you extremely timely. So we're recording these on Wednesdays, releasing them on Fridays now. So we're bringing you guys that Friday energy on Fridays now, instead of every time we get on a Monday morning, you're hearing us scream, Happy Friday! Now it's actually Happy Friday for all of you guys listening to this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this episode with Gary, where we are talking all things summer weather and what we plan on seeing in the next few months. Gary, welcome to the podcast. We're switching it up on everyone. We're not going to be starting out every podcast saying Happy Friday, because now we're recording on Wednesdays. But they're going to come to people on Fridays now.
Are we going to come on Friday?
We're going to come on Fridays. These are going to be Friday episodes now.
That is amazing. So Friday mornings. So that's great because we always feel like we're on Fridays anyway. So now we'll really feel like Wednesdays are Fridays. And then we'll be confused on Thursday. I thought it was Friday already.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited about it. It just works out great because, then there's less opportunities for Lauren to be taking the podcast on the road. I have a crazy summer coming up.
I went back and looked. The last 5 podcasts, it's like Colorado, then you're in Italy, and then you're in Antarctica. It's like every week you're in some other foreign place. Last week you were in a car in the middle of who knows where. Pretty much how the rest of my summer looks as well. So this works out best for everyone. I get to sit here and drink my morning tea. Awesome. We just get to start our mid-week off on a great note with one another. Beautiful.
And it's bring all the energy to everyone on their Friday morning.
Excellent.
I'm so excited. Well, the weather. What's happening right now? What in the world is going on with the weather in the world?
Well, a week from when this airs, next Friday is the first day of summer. So I've been trying to explain to people that meteorological summer is a fallacy. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
Made up. A lot of things in this world get made up and then you believe it. So there's something to it, though. You have December, January, and February that are winter months, and you have March, April, May that are spring months, and you have June, July, August that are the summer months, and then September, October, November are the fall months. That's meteorological seasons. But I don't look at it that way, and I'm a meteorologist, so summer begins on the solstice, and that's June the 20th, a week from when you're listening to this. It's coming up on Friday, next Friday. So summer will begin, and it looks like it's going to start heating up significantly. The weather pattern continues to cycle per the LRC. So what we've just had, many crops got planted and had just enough rain, and they're starting to do fairly well. To have a bumper crop and have corn and soybean prices actually drop because there's so much corn and soybeans out there, you have to have timely rains. It's not going to be perfect in some areas. In fact, some crops may fail. Overall, I think the crops will succeed and be successful in many areas, but it's still going to be a struggle in some. What's happening now, we just had the outbreak, severe weather outbreak part of the pattern cycle through a few days ago, and there was severe weather across Texas, Oklahoma. They had a level 4 out of 5 risk. That was right on schedule. Remember, this year's weather pattern is cycling about every 6 weeks. Just because summer is coming doesn't mean the pattern is stopping. It is continuing to cycle all the way to next September, and then the pattern continues to cycle in October, November, and all the way through the next year and the year after that. But it transitions in October to a different cycle. Like it probably won't be 6 weeks long next year. It might be 7 weeks or 8 weeks or 7.5 weeks. We'll go over that as we go into next fall. But just know the pattern is still cycling regularly. So we had the severe weather outbreak. There was severe weather in October in this part of the pattern. November 16th to 20th, 40 days later. 6 weeks later, December 28th, we had an outbreak of severe weather, a big one in the winter. And then there were like 100 tornadoes on December 28th. Then February, there was a few tornadoes right on cycle. And then the next cycle, March 14th to 17th, the deadly tornado outbreak. And then there was more severe weather with tornadoes at the end of April and just now in June. Sometimes in June and April, they're worse than they are during the winter. This year, the worst ones were actually December and March. So that part of the pattern happened. Remember that date, December 28th. That part of the pattern cycle through. So what happens a week after December 28th? What is going to happen next week, early in the week? Blizzard part of the pattern. All right? That is actually next in line. This is what the LRC is all about, no matter where you live. For Kansas City and for Kansas and for the southern central plains, it's the blizzard part of the pattern. For Chicago, it might be some other part of the pattern. For New York, it might be another part of the pattern. For London, England, it might be the cool, wet part of the pattern for them. You never know. That cycles back through. But for us, the blizzard part of the pattern is due early next week, and the models have that system that I'm tracking right on schedule, but it's going to be the summer version. Well, it's still late spring version. The late spring version, because summer begins on Friday. So are you following me? Isn't that amazing?
Yes, that's so cool. So when it's the summer or late spring version, that's wet, right? Like we're getting rain instead of snow.
Possibly.
That's how that works.
I mean,
okay.
There will be organized thunderstorms with that blizzard part of the pattern. Yeah, but it's going to be the June version. So how is that going to be? There's not going to be any blizzard. So you can't, I can call it the blizzard part of the pattern, and then people go, you're crazy, when it's just raining and it's 80 degrees outside. So, but it is that part of the pattern. Now what happens after that is, remember the blue sky part of the pattern? Remember I talked about that? Does that jog your memory? That is what comes at the end of June. We had 3 or 4 days where it was completely blue sky. Don't be shocked. June 25th to 30th, that's when the blue sky part of the pattern returns. So this is what's going on. So what I wish it would mean, and sometimes in my brain, I try to make it happen. I can't make it rain on your cornfield. I can't make it rain on your dairy farm. I wish I could. I know the pattern's going to return, and the forecasts that we make are going to be accurate at a high enough accuracy level where you can use this data from the LRC model, but I can't get them all right. I wish I could. I wish I controlled the weather. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't like it when we're wrong, but when we're right now 60%, 70% of the time, I feel good about that. Even though I know that means 30% of the time I have to hear from people saying, you said there'd be a storm, and where is it? I go, it's there. It just happened to go one state north of you.
Exactly. We're on the verge of summer. Summer's knocking. The correct version of summer, where it actually starts at the summer solstice, is knocking at least. Even though we've maybe been feeling it here in Kansas for the past week, and it's a little warm today. It's in the 90s today, and it's heating up out there, so it may feel like summer. We're not there yet. What are we looking like for summer weather, heat waves, all of the things that go along with summer weather?
We don't think there's going to be any major long duration heat wave this summer. Even Texas has gotten wetter and wetter. So you have Texas and Oklahoma, Kansas that are green. Everything is green. Now, usually the hottest summers, it's already brown and it's already dry and it's already hot in Texas and Dallas. That has not happened yet. So there will be shorter duration potential heat waves, 3 days to 5 days. One of those with the blue sky part of the pattern later this month. Another when that returns again in August. And then between June 10th and 20th, there's a good chance of a 3 to 7 day stretch of heat. But before the heat and after the heat, there's going to be opportunities for some rain and a little bit cooler weather. But just know there's going to be some short-term heat stress on the crops, some disease environments developing out there for some of the crops. So you have to use some pesticides probably. And then just know that there's going to be some issues like that. But I'm still expecting some timely rain. In the summer, in July and August, the corn needs like 2 inches of rain per week, or at least a good week right when the seeds are fermenting. It's like now is when we need rain. So 2 inches per week is about 8 inches per month, and places don't average that much rain. So you need above average rain to have that much rain, but then you end up with too much rain sometimes if you get above average rain. So we're going to be near average to below average across parts of Iowa and Nebraska.
Very, very good information to know. Any other highs, lows, things that we need to talk about in the weather this week?
Nothing really significant. Just know that we're always monitoring the weather pattern. The pattern is right on cycle. We are sharing a secret with all of you with the crystal ball of the LRC. Yes, we know what the weather pattern is going to look like in July and August, but that doesn't mean we can predict perfectly. The weather pattern is going to cycle through, and we'll do our best at predicting it. And our model does pretty good, and it's only going to get better in the next few years.
Yes, absolutely. And we do have that exclusive Cattle USA link for the Weather 2020 dashboard for you guys down in the show notes where you can go check that out. Check out the Global Predictor. Get that app on your phones. It's literally $5 a month, and it will save you a lot of stress, especially as you're planning those fall vacations, things like that coming up. It will save you a lot of headache and stress, and it's just a great app to have. And so we've got all of that information linked down in the show notes for you guys where you can go check it out, see just Gary's mastermind of like the inside of his brain put out into fruition with the Weather 2020 dashboard and everything that it has to offer on their team. And we're just so grateful for their partnership coming on here with the Cattle USA podcast and sharing all of this with you guys every single week. So Gary, thank you for your time as always.
You're welcome.
We
And remember, the
appreciate it.
Global Predictor goes through December 10th right now. So pretty soon it's going to go all the way to Christmas here in a week or two.
Wow, you guys can maybe look at the Global Predictor and see if we're going to have a white Christmas now, or at least a white around Christmas, right?
That's fine with me.
So Gary loves it. He moved to the mountains for a reason and ditched us here in Kansas. But, you know, we've had a pretty white Christmas for the past few years here in Kansas too. So we're definitely in that string as well. So as always, Gary, thank you for your time. And to all of you listeners out there, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, go check out those show notes, get all of that information and the Weather 2020 dashboard. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Not tomorrow. This is coming out on Friday. We will see you all on Monday on another episode of the Cattle USA Daily Podcast. Have a good one, y'all.